Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this edition of Exploring with Riley King. Take a look at the photo right here. Yesterday in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the Manchester Public Library, New Hampshire students got to meet with David Hogg about gun control efforts. Students organize ahead of 2020 elections. A Florida high school student who survived a mass shooting last year spoke out about gun violence in New Hampshire on Wednesday. David Hogg was meeting with students Wednesday who are part of the March for Our Lives movement, which was founded by Hogg and other student survivors of the 2018 shooting at Major Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Hogg said emotions are still raw for his classmates just 16 months after the shooting. The visit was the final stop of a 9-school tour across the country. The March for Our Lives initiative is working to build grassroots support and momentum heading into the 2020 elections. About 24 students organizers met with Hogg at the Manchester Public Library. They said they were excited to meet with Hogg and exchange ideas on how to make a positive change in their communities. Sheehan started a chapter of March for Our Lives at his school. The organization, with chapters nationwide, encourage young people to engage in the political system. 17 students and teachers were killed in the shooting at Major Stoneman Douglas High School. Hogg has turned the tragedy into activism, calling for gun control and mobilizing young people across the country. Hogg said he's embedding students to use their voices even toward presidential candidates. This week, the deputy sheriff who stayed outside the building as the Parkland shooting unfolded was charged for failing to protect the students. Hogg, on his way to Harvard University in the fall, social issues and politics will remain a focus for him. March for Our Lives has a 10-point plan for gun reform. It includes funding for gun violence research, universal background checks, and a ban on high-capacity magazines. And now let's take a look at this video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
We're here to organize the kids in New Hampshire so that they don't start organizing after several dozen people die in a school shooting.
The mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman High School in Florida was just 16 months ago. Hogg says it's still raw.
Nobody does good after a school shooting, and I think an important thing for people to remember.
The tragedy sparked the creation of March for Our Lives, urging young people to engage in the political system. There are now hundreds of chapters around the country. Brendan Sheehan helped start a chapter here. The goal?
Bring people together and make a safer Granite State, and while not infringing on the rights of lawful people.
Hogg says he's emboldening students to use their voice, yell even, at presidential candidates.
To make sure they care about young people dying in their schools and in their communities and in their homes on a daily basis.
This week, the deputy sheriff who stayed outside the building as the shooting unfolded was charged for failing to protect students.
I'm glad there's accountability, and I'm glad there is an investigation into what happened to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Hogg is on his way to Harvard in the fall. Societal issues will remain a focus. So will politics.
We have to be the last generation that has to go through a lockdown drill. And if we aren't, then we've failed our future children.
March for Our Lives has a 10-point plan for gun reform. It includes funding for gun violence research, universal background checks, and a ban on high-capacity magazines. You can find a link to it with this story on our website, WMUR.com. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino. And that does it for this evening edition of Exploring with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this evening edition of Exploring with Riley King. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another edition of Exploring with Riley King. Good night, everyone, and bye.